Are you going to Acapulco this next year? Did you go this year? I did. Kurt was there. Everybody was there. Anarchapulco is the first day of my new year. Welcome to the Paradise Paradox. My name's Aaron Battle. In this episode, I'm going to tell you why. We're going to explain why Anarchapulco is the pivotal point of our 365 years. We are going to... Kurt does. Kurt breaks down why the liberty movement is taking over the world, and he tries putting together how long it's going to take before everyone is attending in Acapulco. Hopefully by then we won't even need the event. I'm just happy to go and celebrate the fact that I found something that I can stand by and believe in. So, other things we cover in this episode, something super important is the non-aggression principle. Kurt breaks it down in the second half, so hang on for that. But it's funny because I think Kurt says that we all naturally know what the non-aggressive principle is, but there's a different dynamic happening now. We need to know how do we stand by that, how do we apply it day to day. And I think that's what we're trying to get to. I was left feeling a little bit like the Aaron in episode 3, the third episode we ever did of the Paradise Paradox, called "The Economics of Freedom." If you want to be scratching your head, asking yourself some solid economic questions and question whether you are a free man, then I suggest checking out episode 3 because it's funny to see earlier episodes of the Paradise Paradox so you can follow the development, but it's a good episode for understanding your own personal perspective on governments and taxation, and it was probably the seed for me on my path of understanding what true liberty in this modern world of BS is all about. So if you went to Acapulco, or you're going, or you know someone that did, jump down and subscribe, or press like, or leave a comment. Whatever you feel like doing. I just want to see you do something, because we're all action men now. We also touch on just our experience, as always, here in Mexico. We like to talk about why we're here in Mexico, and how a lot of people went to Acapulco and then stayed in Acapulco, which is super cool, because Mexico really is, in a way, freedom. Mexico equals freedom. So why not have the Acapulco largest, first, most anarchist capitalist conference here in Mexico. So check that out. It's a whole lot of fun. I'm going to put a few pictures in now to show you our shirts that we've designed. Anyone that's interested in sound money, or a fan of just wealth, gold and silver, and storing it somewhere where it's going to actually retain its value. We made a shirt about it. So jump on the www.theparadiseparadox.com and check out our shirts. We got some really sweet designs up there now. Being in the theme of Anarchapulco, real money. So bam, there's Kurt wearing the shirt. Real money. For those that are donating, as always, we are grateful. I can't think of another term that wraps it up better. No, it's nice. It really is. And we're really just starting to get our stride going here with alternative media and getting the podcast out and building a few interviews. But when you see something that you enjoy, or it's just fun to tune into, the antics of Aaron and Kurt, the Paradise Paradox, and you send through a percentage of Bitcoin or a PayPal donation, then that really is nothing short of wonderful, marvelous. It's exciting for us, and we are grateful. So keep that up. Let's see my notes. I think other than that, we're committed to Anarchapulco, and that I hope I see you there next year. Here are some of the stories.
Talk a little bit about Anarchapulco. So I know I'm going to be locked in no matter what. If this event is happening next year, or in the foreseeable future, as long as I'm on Earth, I will probably be going.
Okay. Yeah, I feel the same way. 100%.
Yeah. Okay.
Unless.
Yeah.
Well, actually, no. I've thought about this a lot in ever since coming back from the last one. It was like, is this going to be something that's kind of like my Christmas? It's like the milestone of the year.
Yep.
And I think it can. Like I think it is important to well, firstly to have yearly milestones, but to be able to put an Acapulco in there for you, I mean that's a pretty sweet boost of power.
Yeah, how so?
Well, I know you know what I mean, but it's just if you have, because aside of what it really is, what it is you're hanging out with people that are basically in the same headspace, on almost all levels as you. So, if you're thinking about practicing a little entrepreneurship, it's the best platform to go in and speak with people that are in the same, essentially wearing the same shoes, and share ideas and advice.
Yep. Because it's all, kind of interesting. I don't know. I guess there are some entrepreneur workshops or something like that, but this is kind of very horizontal, like everybody's on the same level, and if you go up and talk to somebody, they'll be open and friendly, and of course, I guess to some extent people care about their reputation. They don't want to be seen as a dick, but on the other hand, I think people are just they're genuinely friendly people, and they're willing to talk no matter what. I think about the organizations that I've been involved in the past. Like you and I were both members of a certain direct sales organization, which I guess I won't name it, but we were knocking on doors for a while, and there's certain things about that organization which were very good and helpful. So the kind of energy, the excitement. Hyping yourself up in the morning, slapping each other's hands, and saying, "Yeah, we're gonna do this." We're gonna make some motherfucking sales. Yeah. We're gonna build a business and all that kind of thing. That was good because I think it opened our minds a little bit. It certainly gave me a lot more confidence, and changed me in a lot of ways. But there are some things about it, like certain people within the organization were kind of sociopathic. I guess sales officers tend to attract that kind of character. By the way, did you ever see the full movie of Glengarry Glen Ross?
No, I haven't.
Okay. All right, you should see it.
But just definitely. Yeah, it seems very cool.
It's because it's a very gritty, realistic portrayal of what a sales office is like. Like you have schmoozers and you have old guys who can't cut it anymore, and there's this like range of characters that you probably see in every sales office. Anyway, so and then I remember I was a member of another organization of Amway for a while, and you go to the events, and people get hyped up, and again they try to get you dreaming and think, talk about people skills and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And that's good too. There's a lot of positive things there. But I guess I did. There wasn't quite as much sociopathy as in the other sales office, but there's still maybe a bit of that there. I mean, even in Amway, you go up and talk to people, and people are working on personal development, and they're trying to be better people and that sort of thing, and that's great.
Yeah.
But at Anarchapulco, it's like people are already there, kind of. Like they're already a lot of them already living their lives the way they want to live it, and whatever that means for them. So if it means like Kenny traveling without any money, or like being an entrepreneur and jet setting, or starting a media company like us, I guess, or all these kind of things. So that they're already at this high level of personal development in general, and they're very, very genuine and very interested in other people. So I don't think I have to wonder. Like I thought the other day, I haven't. I guess I grew up being alienated because I'm a strange person. I'm not necessarily like
You're
other
a
people.
hip hop artist.
Not about that. But I wondered, of course, and Acapulco, I don't feel alienated, and I feel very much at home. And I wonder, does that mean actually I've been alienated my entire life and never noticed it until now?
That's about getting a good a change in perspective.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I completely felt at home when I was at. Every time I go to Acapulco, it's like it's not even. It's actually what they've created there is very weird. In that you change. I mean, it changes how you feel socially.
Yeah.
Like irrespective of whether sometimes you're a little uncomfortable. I don't know, like just something simple like public speaking. I think if you understand the majority of themes that are spoken about at Acapulco, then by the end of the 3 days, you could probably get up on stage and have your own half-hour rants about your perspective, and it'd be totally cool. Firstly, for the people listening, and then just the way you deliver it, I think you do come across a lot more comfortable when you're with people that want to hear what you have to say.
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, and that's nearly in every conversation that you can have during the week.
Yes.
I've definitely got to go for longer next time. 'Cause I only went 5 days.
Right.
This last trip, and it wasn't enough. I mean, not enough pre-game. I think I should get there a week earlier last time, like what you did.
Pre-game, that's a funny expression. That, because that's like, well, I guess they say that in the US if there's a game or not, and that's how it's used in Spanglish as well. Like before the club, you go for pre-game.
Oh yeah.
Why? There's no game. Well, yeah.
No, there's a game.
All right. There's always a game.
No, well, I think okay. In this case, what's important is talking to as many people as you can.
Yes, yes.
I was running into people that I recognized from the year before, but I never got to speak to them because we're running different directions or just crossing paths in the lobby. And then I was like, hey, you were here last year, and it was like a different level of family. So now it's like now I have to go, and I know you're on the same boat. We must go this next year, just because we're in the original crew. We have to stay strong. So that's kind of what I mean by pre-game, because now we're going there with missions.
Yep. Well, yeah, like people are saying, like it seems like it's going to keep growing every year until it's like a month-long event, and for some people it's never ended. They're still there.
Yes.
People from the first year. Yeah. By the way, so it seems like there's a little Liberty community growing in Puerto Vallarta with the Coopers, Barry Cooper and his wife and his daughter, and son-in-law Leandrew, and a couple of other people too, either living there or thinking about moving down there. And then the Coopers it looks like the Coopers are thinking about moving to Guadalajara.
Oh, cool!
So yeah,
excellent.
Expanding the Liberty movement across Mexico a bit, maybe. Yeah.
Well, I see this as a very natural movement. I think a lot of people that understand the Liberty movement and start playing with these like alternative ways of living. Once you start processing that, then you really can't. It's very difficult to remain asleep in the USA or in Australia. In our case, I just don't think you can do it. There's so many things that would just bug you on a day-to-day basis that you kind of want to change your scenery. So I think that's why a lot of people are moving to Mexico, and it's going to be. This is to me a very. It's normal ideas. I mean, we're not crazy people that can't handle paying taxes anymore. No, it's got more to do with somebody wanting to live on their own terms, and then wanting to expand themselves to somewhere different. Mm-hmm. And Mexico is perfect for that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then you run into people that think the same as you, and it's like, hey, well, it's cool to meet someone that gets it, but it's not like that anymore because there's thousands of us.
Yeah. Well, I hope so. At least a few hundred.
No, I say there's yeah. Okay, maybe there isn't that. Are you saying there isn't that many of us?
I'm sure there are, but it's not like you meet thousands of. It's not like you meet someone every day.
No, well, I mean, not here, but when you go to the event, it's a bit overwhelming.
Yeah. Well, for every person that made it to the event, I guess there's another 10 or another 100, another 1,000. Who knows?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, it's growing, and it's growing super quick.
Yeah. Well, this is something that like Larkin Rose talks about when he said with the Liberty movement. Like today, maybe we have say 100,000 people all over the world who are interested in liberty, who don't think that a government or an institution that's based on force or threats of violence has any place existing. So today, say there's 100,000 people. Every year, each one of those converts about 5 people to the same ideology, I guess, or the same moral conclusion, and using exponential growth, it will only take about, I don't know, it takes about 10 years to take over the entire world. It's something like that.
Okay.
So maybe in 10 years, everybody will have rejected government and the use of force as a legitimate means of organizing a society or solving problems. That's I kind of wonder if that's what we're looking at, because that's how it's, it seems to be progressing. Like, I share memes and I talk on Facebook. I write little mini essays and that sort of thing. And over the last year, like maybe 5 people have said to me, "Oh, I wasn't really interested in this, but after your patient explanations, I have to take this a bit more seriously and have to consider that yes, liberty is really an option, and liberty, or even that they'll say that yes, that's what we should do." So either they're considering it or they're jumping right in, depending on the person.
So do you think maybe people have not considered it? They just they're just going with the flow.
This is the very clever thing about propaganda, because you take the word anarchy and consider what the word anarchy means to most people. Like, what does the word anarchy mean to you?
Well, right now it means freedom.
Yeah.
But there was a time when I imagined Gotham City, Batman
Right,
trying to hold back the riots,
Yeah,
and the punks, burning everything, and
exactly, like destruction, chaos, vandalism. Yeah, exactly. And so that's still what this word means to a lot of people. And if you say, well, I think we should limit government until we and bring about a cultural change, so we don't actually need government and we can find alternative solutions. And people might dismiss it just by saying, well, that just sounds like anarchy. And you say, well, yeah, but what do you mean? What do you mean when you say that? Because it makes it very difficult for people to understand if concepts are tied to words. And they sometimes, a lot of people have to think in words, and if they can't think conceptually, then if you have a word which is assigned to that idea, and you have connotations which are associated with that word, that's what that idea has to mean. So if I say let's get rid of government, they have to think of chaos, they have to think of vandalism, destruction, disorder, and they can't avoid it. It's a very clever propaganda trick.
it's in what you just said. They have to think of that.
Yes.
It's not, because I can imagine people thinking right now, no, well, I don't think that. But it's like it's a subconscious thing. It's before you even think about it. You already have this imagery.
Yeah.
And that's part of like the programming of what we've grown up in. It's like that's what we know. That's what we've been shown from from the day we're born.
Yeah.
We've been programmed into thinking these symbols for these words, and we're trapped. To break out of that, I don't know how we did it. I don't even know if we have done it, because I'm still thinking Gotham City. It's like I've got this idea of freedom over top, but it's like why are those fundamental building blocks still there? It's like and that's an awareness of the larger collective group. But then when you start going to these events, I find that you're not talking to people like that anymore. It's like, wait a minute, and the conversation slows right down. There's no passing over anything quickly.
Yeah.
I spent days talking to people about the same thing, just to make sure.
What kind of things?
We were. Well, okay. Entrepreneurship and breaking out of the idea of fear, the idea of failure. These are cages that are being put on your head to say, this could happen. In reality, failure doesn't exist. And once you break out of that, it's kind of the thing is, how do you break out of that? And you really need to meet people that already have. Otherwise, there's no example in your mind. Unless you know people,
bang your head against the wall. But I guess how are you going to know to do that unless you've seen or heard someone doing that kind of thing? I remember when I was trying internet marketing. In the end, I wasn't successful, but I remember my friend Sasha said to me, well, you're going to make a lot of campaigns which won't make any money, but don't think that you're just losing money or failing or anything like that. What you're actually doing is paying for information. And I think that applies in general. So if you put years into a business, say you put a year into a business and it doesn't take off, you haven't actually, well, I mean, you failed in one sense, yeah, for sure. But the other way of looking at it is you've put your time and your effort and your money and your energy in, and for that you've received wisdom and information about how the world really works, and what's really more valuable. Could there really be a better use of your time than developing wisdom?
Yeah. And I think in many of those cases, you really can't go to the next level unless you have earned those wisdom stars.
Yeah,
it's like I feel like, for example, our website right now is brilliant, and I think a lot of that education came out of previous adventures, right?
Yes. Well, yes.
I mean. Yeah. Otherwise, maybe the courage to have even started the podcast in the first place wouldn't have been there unless you had, these other blocks in place. Yeah, it's like you need to get the foundation blocks right first, and if you're not going to. It's kind of like life is this joke on you. It's like you always feel like you're ready, but you'll never know when you're ready unless you've done it. I think I'm starting to understand that kind of process now. It's like everything you've done, whether you want to deem it a failure or a success, it's just preparation for what you're going to do next. And when you start looking at it like that, whatever happens, I'm doing this so that I can do the next thing, then you're just a little more excited to get up in the morning and do whatever you feel like you need to do, knowing that it's going to help you do whatever's going to come next. And that's a big difference between being scared and spending 5 years thinking about when you're going to take the next jump, compared to hanging out with a room of a couple hundred people that are at that point where they know they're doing everything today because it's going to help them tomorrow. That's a big drive. And that's what I get whenever I go to Anarchapulco, which is why I need to keep going, because now it's about keeping myself in check with the next Aaron that I want to be in line with.
Yeah. Well, I guess I think you never really know how the stuff that you learn is going to be applicable. I remember when I used to do MC battles, and I guess when I first started, I kind of overthought the lines, and I probably used too many big words. And we were in this pub full of people who've had a few too many to drink. And everything I'm saying is going over their head, or it's too complex for them to really process at that moment. But after knocking on doors for like a year, I came back and did another MC battle, and it was so much different because I gained so much confidence, and I'd learned how to relate to people, so I knew more what they would understand. And because of that, I became a much better MC. So you never know how things are going to apply. Did your camera just turn off?
Yeah.
Well, I think it's cool that you and I both share experience with Amway and with that sales group. These companies changed my life, and I'm not with either of them, and they're not paying me still, and they didn't pay me very well at the time, but I can say they changed my life in ways that money could never reimburse me, I guess.
Yeah, well, it's just like they say. There's those pirates spend all that time searching the oceans for lost treasure, but what they didn't realize was the real treasure was the moments they spent together.
Those sailor buddies. Well, you're right. It must have been a party on that boat, right? I mean, you don't know whether you're gonna make it. You're about to go overboard every night.
Probably.
Then the politics on the boat between pirates. Who's going to keep the loot?
So hey, listen. I wanted to try to explain the non-aggression principle to you once again.
This is going to be nice.
I tried to explain it to you when we were both drunk, and it didn't really go so well.
Do you remember why? Do you remember why you were trying to tell me?
I remember saying, "Look, you have to know this, or you might make a fool of yourself."
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think you did, by the way, but
No.
I was trying to look out.
I spent
for
a lot of time.
Yeah.
Thinking about that.
Okay. All right. Maybe you made a fool of yourself because I got you self-conscious. All right. So it's something very simple, and it's not meant to tell you necessarily what to do, but it's just this rule of thumb, which gives you an idea of whether something is good or bad, or whether something should be punished. So that's the context, which maybe I didn't convey to you last time. So basically, if you aggress against somebody, that is, if you initiate violence against them, or if you take their property or damage their property, that's a violation of this principle, the non-aggression principle, because you've aggressed against somebody. So if I attack you, then of course it's reasonable for you to defend yourself, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if I let's say if I steal your wallet, is it reasonable for you to tackle me? So I feel like no. Yeah. Okay. To some extent, it's probably wrong because it's about proportionality of force. But in terms of this basic level, like I've aggressed against you, so can you defend yourself?
Sure. Why not?
So if I well, it's the same. Like if I punch you, you can punch me back to try to protect yourself, right? If I steal your wallet, then you can punch me in order to get your wallet back and to protect yourself if that's necessary as well.
To equal or lesser. I can
about reasonable force, but that doesn't enter into it at this point, because this is just at a very basic level. It's the principle of whether you have the right to defend yourself, and
the yes no.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So if I punch you, you can defend yourself. If I steal your wallet, you can defend yourself. If I threaten you in order to get your money, then you can defend yourself, right?
Well, yes, but I mean, there's obviously limitation to that. I mean, you can't.
Yeah. But let's say if I said, hey, Aaron, if you don't pay me $100, I'm going to pick you up and lock you in my basement. Can you defend yourself in that case?
Yes, of course.
Yes. All right. So what if the government said to you, Aaron, you have to pay 20% of your income to us, or we will lock you in a cage? Is it reasonable to defend yourself according to this principle?
Yes, of course it is.
Yes. Now, you wouldn't necessarily do that for practical reasons because they have bigger guns. But according to the principle, it's reasonable for you to defend yourself.
Yeah.
Now, to get into something a little more abstract, just a tiny bit more, imagine you run a business, and I say to you, Aaron, you have to pay your employee at least $15 an hour, or I'm going to pick you up and lock you in a cage. Now, is it reasonable for you to defend yourself in that case?
We escalated quickly.
So according to this principle, remember, I'm threatening you, I'm the government, and I'm threatening you. So is it reasonable for you to defend yourself? Because I'm threatening you with violence.
It should be.
Yes.
But
Well, there you go. So that's basically the non-aggression principle. If someone initiates violence or the threat of violence or damage to your property against you, then it's reasonable for you to defend yourself.
yeah,
But if nobody has initiated violence, then it's not reasonable to use violence. So for example, if you see a 16-year-old smoking marijuana, is it reasonable for a police officer to attack that youth according to this principle?
well, of course not.
Of course not, because the youth hasn't injured anybody, hasn't attacked anybody. All they've done is something peaceful. So that's basically the non-aggression principle. So now you know. Next time, maybe you won't make a fool of yourself. Well, not that you did, but
No, I won't beat up the kid next time.
Clears that up.
I will share. I will share that sneaky J.
Yeah. All right. Cool. All right. I'm glad we could clear that up. So it's something to think about. It doesn't necessarily apply in every case, but it's a good rule of thumb to determine what should be what should be reasonable and what shouldn't.
So now I'm starting to wonder, what did I do that was unreasonable?
No, you didn't do it. Okay, you didn't. That's not what I was. You never aggressed against anybody. That's not what I was.
That's in line.
No, what I was talking about was more intellectual. I was talking about it as a concept, not that I expected you to go around and punch somebody for no reason. Because I know you're civil and you understand this principle by intuition, but you didn't necessarily understand it intellectually, and that's why I wanted to explain.
Yeah, well, when you start bringing up examples that are more indirect, then you really need to start thinking about where do I stand, and
Exactly.
I mean, if these are examples that I personally haven't processed, then the public, they generally wouldn't know where they stand. And it's like, policemen,
Exactly.
why are you hurting me? I don't understand, and that's scary too, because
Yes.
I know here in Mexico a lot of the policemen get beat up, and it's because I think naturally people in Mexico understand kind of where they're at. That they haven't been
They do understand, just because you're a police officer doesn't mean you can aggress against people. So, They don't, they don't have this reverence for authority. They will respect people, but they won't revere authority just for the sake of being authority. Yeah. So it's probably why, that's one of the many reasons why Mexico is a great place for a liberty event. Cool. So that's a few thoughts about Anarchapulco. Did you have anything else to say?
I got plenty, but I mean, not we're going to fit in the last 5 minutes. We'll save for another rep.
Okay. Well, sure. All right, great.
Cheers, guys, for tuning into another brain cell expanding, busting. I don't like being put under the pressure. So maybe if you guys ask the questions to yourself as well, or just pondered these thoughts, then I wouldn't feel so bad about it. So by all means, take home a little homework. Show notes. This is episode 113. That's right. Episode 113. So you can jump onto our website, the paradiseparadox.com, and /113 to go straight through to this episode's page, where we'll throw up a little blurb, expand a couple of the ideas, throw in some links that you might be interested in, shared resources, and the other episodes that kind of mesh in with this theme, they're down there as well. So homework time, episode 113, show notes, check it out. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do that. If you want to leave a comment, whatever you want it to be, put it there as well. And if you're listening on the tunes, whether it's Pocket Casts or iTunes or SoundCloud, we're on SoundCloud now, follow us. It's good to build the community. Be well. Hope to see you soon, and all the best.